This is a message from your guides reading for Sirius business. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and surround us in some protective space. I'm going to use my Shadowkite here. Okay, so this is actually a group crystal, so all of the monthly readings that I'm doing, I'm using that, and then also I have another couple of group things here, but I'm going to go ahead and get into the other crystals first. So Shadowkite has to do with healing with earth energies, grounding, and then it also has to do with claircognizance, inner knowing. And I keep feeling with your reading specifically, it feels like a new perspective. It feels like a new perspective that your guides are trying to send you, almost on the way to be. The way to see the world around you, almost like from new eyes. It almost feels like tapping into like a new self, in a sense. A new way of being who you are, feeling who you are. It feels like you're almost being introduced to a new part of yourself, and it feels like a new way to feel about yourself. But it feels like you're really almost meeting this other part of yourself, because it feels like you've identified with this other thought form for so long that had these habits about the way that they're looking at themselves. And there's all this worry in your solar plexus, your sacral as well. And it feels like there's like this extra almost weight here in your abdomen, at the abdomen, in your like stomach area. It feels like that it has to do with these two chakras. The sacral does store a lot of fear and different like traumatic types of feeling, different pressures, especially related to fear and feeling threatened by things. We can tend to hold on to that in our sacral. And then with the solar plexus, this is a manifesting chakra. So when it's intact, you can really, when it's intact, you have a lot of confidence and you're able to move forward out of that confidence. You see things in a very positive way and it moves you forward. So it's like these higher chakras up here, they can bring you like a vision or a goal, or even your heart chakra, you have a desire, you have an emotion about something, you're passionate about something that you want to do. But your solar plexus brings that into being. It has a lot of manifesting energies. But your solar plexus has a lot to do with your confidence and your self-esteem. And so it feels like there's a lot of worry about your image that's actually in your stomach. And it feels like this almost causes you to digest foods differently than you would. It causes you to hold on to, because like I said, like the sacral, it stores things, okay? So if your body is going to reflect that, and you have a couple of chakras here, especially the sacral, that's storing a lot of energy in general, and then you have the solar plexus that can't almost remove that energy the way that it needs to, and almost break through that energy because of the confidence level here, so it's affected in that way. When you think about them storing things, those chakras storing things like that, and not being able to release those things that they're storing, even if you're in the water, so that's like this very purging thing that you're doing all the time. You're constantly diving, you're constantly in the water, and that's really, really good for you. And obviously that's going to get you in shape to a degree, and you're going to lose some of this. So then if it's still there, you have to kind of think, okay, where am I blocked with this? That this almost dead weight in a sense is still there. That means that something is stifled there, something is stuck there. Anytime somebody has extra weight on them, it's because they're holding on to usually a fear, but it has to do with something that they're holding on to. It can be other things. It can be an anger, it can be a regret. A lot of the time it has to do with fears though, and not wanting other people to see us. So it can definitely have to do with a self-esteem thing or a confidence thing. It can have to do with a trust thing as well, trusting other people, trusting your guidance, trusting the universe, trusting yourself, and just trusting in general that things are going to work out. But I feel like that isn't as much the issue now as it was before. There's some of that stuff still lingering there, but I feel like those specifically, things like trust, security in the natural world around you, there is some of that still left there, but those tend to be root chakra issues, and so they come from the root chakra and not being grounded, feeling safe, secure in the physical world around you. But with all this diving that you're doing, all this physical exertion and physical activity that you're doing all the time, you've gotten rid of a lot of what's blocking the root chakra, and even what's still there around the root chakra, it's not really hindering it so much. Like you were already activating some lower chakras, as I was telling you before, even beyond this, even beyond the root chakra, because it's like that's what you need to do now with all this physical activity, this diving and everything. So those chakras are definitely very much intact and working. But when it comes to your self-esteem and worrying what other people think, things like that, okay, the throat, your guides are bringing up the throat. That's definitely a chakra that can be very affected by that as well. But I feel like, so there is an issue with that chakra also that you can kind of look into or work with. And you can use different crystals for different chakras as well. You just get a crystal that corresponds to the color of the chakra. That's really mostly the way that it works. Like a lot of times for throat, I end up using lapis lazuli. I have a big lapis lazuli here, kind of big, not that big, but kind of medium sized. So it really has to do with the colors. Okay, so the solar plexus and the sacral, though, even more than the throat, those are the areas to really work on, because I feel like if those are cleared, even though there are issues in the throat, I feel like they're more going to clear out. And even the remnants that are left in the root chakra, I feel like that'll be totally clear. I feel like your root chakra is getting really strong, actually, and that's something that's really helping you with these with these other chakras actually. And the fact that you're diving, that you keep doing it despite some of the interactions that you're having with other people and the feelings that you have and different worries or doubts, not about your diving obviously, but just about what people are thinking of you. And also things like, will you pass, and all these different things that could go through your mind. This is really the area where it's coming from. And so this also answers the weight question that I know you had like a long time ago. You've had that for a while. You haven't mentioned it in a while, but your guides are bringing it up again. Even though you haven't mentioned it in quite some time. But that's really what that is going back to as well. Even if there's some other areas of your body maybe where there's some extra weight, it's really coming from your guts, from your from the way that your stomach is processing food and holding on to things, because it's retaining energy, and your physical body is going to reflect that. If you're retaining energy, if you're retaining something energetically, then you're going to end up doing it physically too. It's going to physically appear somehow. And again, weight tends to have to do with fear, because you want to hide, you want to put some layer in front of yourself, and you also want to protect yourself. So it's like this protective layer that's there in front of you. So that's why a lot of times weight, not always, but a lot of times it can have to do with self-esteem issues or fears of in some way being attacked by others or looked down on by others, and just kind of a general insecurity about kind of the outside world, which again, some of that's root chakra based, but the root chakra is really not the issue here. Okay, so I'm going to get into these other crystals really quick. I know I haven't done that yet. And what's funny is I grabbed all of these, and then after I remembered what you were saying in the session. I completely was not thinking of it, I swear, when I grabbed these. I completely wasn't. And then I realized what I did. And I actually, for the last reading that I did, I had my tiger's eye still out here. And I put away the other crystals from that reading, but I still kept this one. I felt like I should. And then I remembered you were saying that this was one of the ones that you were using. And this is really good. This is really perfect, because this has so much to do. It definitely helps with confidence, things like that, for sure. Tiger's eye does. But it also strengthens your physical body as well. And it definitely charges these lower chakras, so your solar plexus, your sacral, and your root as well. So we're at the time limit, but I'm going to go ahead and just go through these really quick so you know what I pulled. So this is my purple fluorite. It's really good for clearing your mind. So it's similar to amethyst, like I was telling you in our session, but so it's really good for clearing your mind, meditating, getting rid of worrisome thoughts, being in the present, but it's also really good for psychic protection and then psychic abilities as well, and developing those. And then I have here these two black stones. So this is tektite. It's a piece of meteorite. And so it's a piece of meteorite, so obviously it's been out in space and then it falls to the ground. But it was up in Earth's atmosphere. So it has that kind of higher and more grounded energies at the same time. And then with the black energy and how intensely connected to the Earth it is as well, because it's like a piece of rock. It's very good at absorbing, at absorbing negative energies and protecting your space. And then the obsidian here, so this is my Apache's tier obsidian, and this is really good at deflecting energies away from you. So it pushes energies away and it helps to cleanse your aura and your space. Okay, so then I have a couple other things here that I pulled for the group. So this is my rune, Soelu. I'm definitely coming up on the time limit here. And this has to do with your higher self, tapping into your higher self for these group readings. It can have to do with other things as well, receiving messages from your higher self. And then I have this fairy card here. This is the Piper, and he has to do with really listening to yourself, trusting yourself, and kind of listening to your emotions, being connected to your emotions and recognizing how you feel. Okay, so that is the message for this reading. I definitely went a little bit over, but thank you so much for allowing me to do another reading for you. I truly hope that it benefits you. Namaste.